Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and after a brief hiatus, I'm back with everyone else in 3.5, where I have to say life for the stick flyer has significantly improved. Now, I mean, sure, the flight model is an adjustment for everyone, but now there's a aim assist enabled for your gimbals, which is frankly huge. You know, if you haven't played with this yet, the default keybind for it is R, and what that does is it sets to change your gimbal mode, which will move from fixed, meaning they're basically always just facing forward, to assist. And you know, it alternates back and forth. But once you do that, you're going to see the words under the circle, the reticle, actually move to show the word assist there. In addition to that, you're also going to get this dotted circle around the middle of the screen by your crosshairs, which is the range of your gimbals as far as where they can actually target and hit the pips. So that mechanically still works the same, where you need to have the pips in that circle in order to actually hit the ship, not just putting the ship in the circle. So you're still going to need to do some sort of aiming and maneuvering, basically leading your target and lining up your pips. You just don't need to be perfect and very precise like you were before. Now, I'm finding that the weapons are more accurate the closer your crosshair is to the pip. So, you know, if you're just kind of flirting with it right at range, like at the edge, it's not going to be perfect. But you'll still land shots anywhere in that circle. Now, also, you need to keep in mind that the gimbals have a bit of travel time, so they may not always land the first few shots, as well as the placement of the weapons on the ship mean that the gimbals on one side of your ship can actually point to the target. So you may end up in some situations where maybe like your left wing can't necessarily line up a target that's flying on the right side of your ship. So you may be missing the target depending on your range. Granted, the closer engagements are going to be where that's more likely to happen, because the farther away a target is, if you're facing in their general direction, chances are your weapons can point at them in any direction. So the old meta, or what at least I thought was the most logical approach for joystick players, was to use fixed weapons of the largest size, because you couldn't really take advantage of the gimbals. And for mouse and keyboard players who always would use gimbals because they could, that may not really apply anymore for those two scenarios. I think now it really just comes down to your overall accuracy abilities with whatever controls you're using, and then doing your own damage per second types of calculations to decide what your best option is. Damage-wise, you're always going to be more effective using the largest weapon size available, but that does mean coming without gimbals and running fixed straight off of the hardpoint. Now, whether you're using a mouse or a stick, if you're the type of player who can consistently hit pips with fixed weapons, it's always going to be your best play to use a larger weapon on a fixed mount. Now, that was also the approach for stick players before, because since you couldn't take advantage of the gimbals, it just made sense to maximize the damage you could land when you did land it. For me, I was fairly accurate, but far from a sharpshooter. So I always went with large fixed weapons that did a lot of damage, like tarantulas on my saber, for example. Because I'd line up a shot, I'd fire, I'd do my damage, I'd maneuver, line up another shot, and basically just repeat that process. Now with the new flight models and, really just weapons that I struggled with before, like repeaters and Gatlings on gimbals, are proving to be far more effective, allowing me to basically focus on working on maneuvering more and allowing the assisted gimbals to do the damage. So I'm, sacrificing a little bit of firepower to land more shots, which is working well for me. Now, one setup that I've been running over the last few days has been the Super Hornet with Scorpion ballistic Gatlings, that's the size 2, on the wings and the ball turret. So I had 4 of those total, with one fixed size 3 Mantis Gatling gun on the nose, which means that I have 4 weapons that are going to be landing significant shots because they're taking advantage of the auto gimbal, and the extra sized 3, which is going to be on the nose, which is also going to do increased damage when I get it lined up appropriately. Now, I'm going to keep kind of playing with that one a little bit to see what I really think the best approach is going to be, because I'm starting to think that maybe having a Mantis on each wing, so 2 Mantises, and then 3 Scorpions, 2 on the ball turret and 1 on the nose, may be a better way to do things, just because you can kind of maximize that size increase in the damage that you get from the Mantis over the Scorpions. Either way, though, if you haven't played with these yet and you were having a hard time landing shots before, things have changed, and it's worth checking out. It's almost reminiscent of the pre-Persistent universe, where there was some aim assist for joysticks before ESP became a thing, and it was just a lot of fun to fly and shoot. So we're sort of back to that model now, and while the skill required on landing shots may seem to have dropped, I think it's actually just shifted a little bit, where we're lowering the floor, allowing more people to do some damage, while keeping the ceiling high, allowing people who have really honed their craft to be able to run fixed weapons and maximize their output. It's basically lowering the price of admission if you think about it. So I think it's a smart approach, and I like where it's at now. If you guys have different opinions, let me know, but if you have questions on any of this, just get it in the comments. Appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for more coming soon. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and take care.